I don't wish death on Trump. I may wish sense on Trump. I may wish truth serum on Trump, but I wouldn't wish death on him. What's hot in these blogs? Let's get it. First things first, let's talk about this Trump rally that took place in Pennsylvania. They are calling it an attempted assassination on your boy, 45. So he's at this rally, and in the video that first started circulating, you see or you hear like something that sounds like popping, like a popping sound. And, you see people looking around, and then you see Trump like grab at his ear. And the next thing you know, you hear people like, get down, get down. He jumps down. Secret Service jump on stage, jump on top of him, and then pick him up. And you see a little blood at his ear, like draining down his face. And it's like chaos. No one really knows what happened at this time, but your boy got up, and first thing he did was put his hands up to the crowd in a fist, and reading his lips, he was saying, fight, fight, fight. And I don't know what he was like really like thinking in this moment, but he telling his supporters to fight. And is that type of energy, I think, is the reason why you have this attempted assassination on him. Like, this is the type of behavior that you foster. Like, you really be promoting this type of chaos and violence. So it's not so far off that you put the thought in someone's ear that this is what I want to do to this man. The shooter was identified as a 20-year-old named Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was able to climb on a building less than like 100 feet or so away from the actual rally with an assault style weapon and open fire. How was he able to get up there is the question I have. Right after this happened, the first couple of press releases that was done and press conferences that was done, everybody's like praising the Secret Service, talk about they did a great job at securing the president and getting him to safety. And I was like, the Secret Service failed. How is this man even able to get that close to the rally? They say they secured the perimeter. They said they even searched that particular building that this man was able to get on top of. Searched all of the areas. You had actual snipers on the roof right next to where 45 was on the podium doing his speech at. And when they showed a picture of the area and show where the building was, where Thomas Matthew Crooks was, where the stage was, where the other building was, where the snipers, Secret Service, law enforcement, whoever they are, were, it looked like they was facing in a direction that they should have been able to see this boy. So I don't know, it's still like mind blowing to me how he was able to carry this out. Is raising more questions than answers, and it's kind of weird. There's people who was at the rally who was saying that they saw a dude climb in the building, saw the weapon on him climbing the building. They say they pointed him out to law enforcement, to the Secret Service. Like, look, this dude is over there climbing this building. What happened in that time frame? One dude in particular who was saying he was pointing the dude out to the Secret Service said it was at least 3 to 4 minutes. No one did anything. Is it because of the stereotypical thing? Like you see a white man with a weapon, and it's like, oh, Oh, that's nothing. Get on up there, young fella. Like, USA, like what? Why wasn't nobody responding to this man climbing on this roof? And for several people to have seen him, it gives me the impression that they had more than enough time to prevent this from happening. But again, this is the type of behavior that 45 likes to promote. You think back when Trump was running against Hillary, your man's implied that someone should use their Second Amendment right to take her out. Literally on stage at one of his rallies, he implied that. That type of rhetoric is what fueled Thomas Matthew Crook. Second Amendment, right? Like, so here we are. And many people was wondering, how will Trump move forward? Will this change anything in the coming days? They're about to have the Republican National Convention. And Trump and his team say they are going full steam ahead. In fact, right after your man's got off stage, probably before he even got to the hospital, they updated the Trump's website saying, like, it says something like, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in the way. And with like a donation button. Straight, just right to it. Let's capitalize off this moment. Let's raise some money and let's go full steam ahead. The president released a statement first. He said, I've been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. He said, Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There is no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it. Kamala Harris, vice president, echoed similar statements. She said, I have been briefed on the shooting. She said, Doug and I are relieved that he is not seriously injured. We are praying for him, his family, and all those who have been injured and impacted by this senseless shooting. She, too, saying she was grateful to the Secret Service, first responders, and local authorities for their immediate action, and also condemned the actions of the person with the weapon. Obama even tweeted out, and similar things, class acts across the board. That's what you're supposed to do when something like this happens. And I guarantee you, if this was the other way around and this happened at a Biden rally, 45 would not have posted anything condemning anything. He wouldn't have been relieved. No one wasn't seriously injured because that's just not his character. He showed us that numerous times. But another thing that this kind of is going to tie to what blows mine is moving forward. Biden has decided that he wants to pump the brakes a little bit. He wants to take his foot off of Trump's neck. He wants to not run ads in Pennsylvania right now in an attempt to lower the temperature. Respectfully. But my thing is, why? When Trump himself is not slowing down. Trump himself said he's okay, and they're going full steam ahead. As I just stated, they already raising money. They getting ready for the convention. They using that photo from him on stage with the blood coming down his ear as like the campaign photo, like full steam ahead. Let's not let this incident blind us from what is still at stake here. Project 2025 is still very real. That did not go away in the last 24 hours. Agenda 47 did not go away in the last 24 hours. Trump is still a menace who cannot be trusted. We cannot let this incident blind us from that fact. Your man still cannot make it back into that White House in November. And don't get me wrong, this should have never happened. Like, I hate the fact that it happened, because right when it happened, I'm like, your man's going to use this as a part of his tactic to say like, oh, the Democrats don't want me to be president, so they tried to assassinate me. Sidebar, turns out that the person who committed the act was a Republican. So there's that. But like I said, don't get me wrong, this should have never happened. I don't wish death on Trump. I may wish sense on Trump. I may wish truth serum on Trump, but I wouldn't wish death on him. Like, this should have never happened. It was completely uncalled for. But Joe Biden, hear me and hear me clearly. This is not the time to slow up and take your foot off of Trump's neck. This is like the equivalent of like the villain getting knocked down and you thinking he's like down for the count, and you turn around and go to walk away, or you have some sympathy and like go to walk away because he's like hurting or something, and then he takes you out from behind. Trump is not to be trusted. There's some people who even is feeling like he might have even set this whole thing up. And I'm not here to say that that's the thing, that's what happened, but stranger things have occurred. And my thing is, he's okay, thankfully. He was grazed and he's okay. And he's going forward full steam ahead. And so should you. Bottom line, your man's not laying up in no hospital bed on life support or anything of that nature. Your man's is going full steam ahead, and so should you. It's too much at stake here to be easing up. Plies took to his social media to send a message to Biden as well. He said, "Dear Joe Biden, you'd be a damn fool to slow down your campaign. Use this moment to push the agenda you've been pushing, banning assault rifles and gun violence, etc. Chaos versus a steady hand. Can't run on hate and act surprised when it happens. Unify the country and show what leadership looks like." Right on. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So you hear that, Joe? That's what we're supposed to be doing. And I know you're trying to take the high road, but this is not the time to take the high road right now. I hope some of these videos get to you, get to your people. I hope y'all strategize and use this to your advantage. Take what you can from this and use it to your advantage. This is not the time to be scaling back, pulling ads from PA. Donald Trump is still a menace. He still has to be stopped from getting in that White House politically, of course, not with violence, but you got to play these cards, man, because that man, he's a dirty individual. He's a crook, all of the things. So, yeah. It's also crazy and worth noting, like, when you look at the pictures that just came out of the supposedly the bullet going real close to Trump, like right there, and it hitting his ear and him grabbing his ear, like being that close. I'm talking about your ear is here. It nipped like the top of the ear. Like, I'm talking about an inch away from having your face off. You should be counting your lucky stars. You should be the one dialing it back. You should be like, oh, nah, you're the reason why this is happening in the first place. You're the reason that people feel comfortable with political violence. You should be on your knees praying, repenting your sins, and thanking God that he spared your life. But what you doing? Fight, fight, fight is what you're saying on the stage to your supporters. And that's the problem. That's the rhetoric. Biden want to take the high road. Biden even spoke to Trump. These guys didn't even shake hands at the debate. But when this happened, it shows the difference between the two. It shows the character of who we're dealing with when Biden can put all of the differences aside and realize, like, nah, this right here, this is serious. And I want to make sure you're okay. And I want to make sure you have all the resources available to investigate what happened and who was behind it. That's the type of person I would love to see do 4 more years in the White House. Not someone on the campaign, on the stage yelling, fight, fight, fight. Like, make America make sense again. The Secret Service released a statement, and it says, during former President Trump's campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on the evening of July 13th, at approximately 6:15 p.m., a suspected shooter fired multiple shots toward the stage from an elevated position outside of the rally venue. U.S. Secret Service personnel neutralized the shooter, who is now deceased. U.S. Secret Service quickly responded with protective measures, and the former president is safe and being evaluated. 1 spectator was unalived. 2 spectators were critically injured. The incident is currently under investigation, and the Secret Service has formally notified the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And the Secret Service also dropped the ball. Like, y'all don't get no praise. Y'all don't get no praise. That man was way too close for comfort, literally and literally too close. Y'all failed. If nobody else told you this, y'all did not do a good job at all. And there should be some terminations happening, because what y'all's sole job is to protect this man. Yet y'all allow somebody to climb up on a roof. Mind you, there's snipers on y'all side looking around. Where are these snipers looking at? Y'all looking at the crowd? Y'all looking at the rally? Y'all up on a roof. You got people in the crowd pointing out, oh boy, like, look, there's a man climbing on the roof, blah, blah, blah. He has a weapon. Police like, huh? What? Duh. Like, y'all up there, snipers, y'all up there on the roof. Don't tell me y'all didn't see this, man. Y'all had enough visual of him that y'all were able to neutralize him from where y'all were. That means y'all should have been able to see him before it happened. Your mans was able to let off how many rounds? Like, failed. Y'all failed. And oddly enough, coincidentally enough, Joe Biden actually tweeted out on that morning of July 13th at 9:45 a.m. The rally happened a little later in the evening. Biden said, I want to ban assault weapons and require universal background checks. Trump promised the NRA that he'd do nothing about guns, and he means it. And then less than 10 hours later, someone used the weapon to try to take him out. You think he's going to do something about guns now? Doubt it. So we'll see what happens. That's where we are. Again, this is like a developing story. So even by the time I finish this podcast right now, there's probably going to be some new development that came out about it. So we'll see. Just stay tuned. But we're going to move on to what else is hot in these blogs. Still in the political realm and talking about Biden. Biden had a little mix-up, little snafu, where he's on this, like, I'm still mentally fit to be president and to do this successfully for another 4 years. Campaign trail right now, this little promo run, which is utterly ridiculous that he even has to be defending himself in this way. But here we are. And while doing so, he had this like press conference. And at the press conference, he fumbled and messed up some names. Kamala Harris, he referred to as Trump. And Zelensky, he referred to as Putin. And this is something that I was saying, this is something that happens all the time. I'm a fraction of Biden's age and I do it all the time. There's sometimes I'm listening to this show back and I'm saying something that I meant to say something else and I'll throw somebody else's name in there. And it's just the way the brain works. Like you got thoughts in there that's like coming out, you just talking, and sometimes it happens. We see parents do it all the time. They calling one kid another kid name. It's like we're not questioning their mental acuity. We're not questioning whether they are too old or not fit to be parents or like, but like I said last week, narrative is so powerful because this just falls right into that narrative. Even with how normal this behavior is for anyone, no matter your age, the fact that it happened to Biden is just another drop in that bank. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that because of this narrative, everybody's watching his every breath. Your man's probably can't even cough wrong right now without people being like, oh, look, put him on a ventilator. Like, so it's unfortunate that we let this narrative get to this point. But Biden has to be like, it's like no room for error, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I do think Biden has been making some good progress since the debate and proving his mental state and what he's able to accomplish. I think he has been making some good progress. I think all eyes are going to be on the second presidential debate. And hopefully he's able to get through that with no blunders. If he's able to get through that with no blunders, we're in good shape. We're in good shape, I feel. But it's like no room for error. So all it's going to take is one little blunder. Man, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And again, it's unfortunate that that's where the media has taken us, but he got to just show complete 100% tip-top sharpness at that debate. Yeah, that's that. We're going to move on. What else is hot in these blogs? Alec Baldwin, his case has been dismissed. He was facing some jail time. If you recall back in, I think it was 2021, he was on the set of this movie Rust, and he was handed a weapon, a prop. Well, it wasn't a prop. It was a real weapon, but it was supposed to have blank bullets. I don't know what they call them, blanks or just like fake rounds. It was supposed to have, and somehow it was a real round in this weapon, and ultimately caused the unaliving of the cinematographer, Helena Hutchison's her name. And right after it happened, it was this whole big, who's to blame? Who's responsible for this incident? Somebody got to go down here. And the person who is in charge of the weapons and stuff, she had her day in court. I believe there was another person that had their day in court, and then Alec Baldwin, whom I felt from the jump should have never been even blamed at the end of the day. I feel as an actor, you're on a set of a movie, and it's not like he went and picked out the weapon himself, loaded it up himself. He was handed this weapon. Imagine you going to work on a movie set, You're ready for your shot. Someone hands you a weapon that you're about to like test out. And then all of a sudden, it was a live round in it and you accidentally unalive someone. How is that your fault at all? Why was this man even in that courtroom on trial? I couldn't understand that for the life of me. And so it's a good thing that this case was dismissed. It was dismissed because apparently there was some evidence, there was some live ammunition that wasn't included in evidence. They put it in another file, the prosecutors did. And I don't know if they did it intentionally to try to like, you know, help their case, which prosecutors do a lot of times, or if it was just an oversight, but probably not. But because of that, the judge has dismissed this case with prejudice, by the way, which means that he can't be brought up on charges on it again. I don't know if there'll be some like civil lawsuits that come out of this from her family or anything like that. But again, Alec Baldwin should have never been in this courtroom. Like, what? Like, I'm just here to work. Someone handed me this weapon. How am I in this court? I feel like the only person that should have been held responsible was the girl, the girl who handed him the weapon. She should have been the only one held responsible in this case because it was her job. That's your sole job, is to make sure this weapon is what it is. So good for Baldwin to have had this case dismissed. I'm sure that's going to change the way your man, he might just retire after this. Don't put me, excuse me, don't put me on any more movie sets, especially ones that involve weapons if I got to hold on to them. This is probably going to change the way he approached sets. I'm sure it even changed the industry in general after this happened with how the safety is done. I was hearing some things that they cut corners on safety on this movie set. Like it wasn't that high of a budget film and they cut some corners and then something like this happened. So that's that. But we're going to move on. Last but not least, what's hot in these blogs? Missy Elliott. I want to give Missy Elliott her flowers right now. Missy Elliott is one of my favorite artists of all time. Ever since I was like yay high, since she came out, I was a fan. The way she approached the music was unlike anything I've ever seen, and it inspired me, even as an artist myself. It inspired me. Her, Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, like my top 3 inspirations when it comes to like rapping and music and just creativity. So when Missy Elliott announced that she was going on tour, mind you, let me point out, I was one of the ones that was in her comment section. Anytime she would post like one of her throwback music videos or something, and she'll be like, we were ahead of our time. This music video is 20 years old. And it's like, yo, that's crazy. I'm in the comments like, when are we getting the tour? We need a tour. I was one of them ones. So when she announced this tour, no brainer. I don't care if I had to go sell some on a corner. I was going to this show by any means necessary. It was long overdue. And so I went to check it out here in LA at the Crypto Arena, and mind blown. This was arguably the best show I've ever seen in my entire life thus far. And that's saying a lot. I've seen some great people perform. I've seen some great people put on great shows. This was the best concert I've ever seen in my life. If you was debating about going, if you was not even considering going, I think it's something worth seeing. Of course, if you're a fan, you gotta like the music. That's first and foremost. And I'm like, I don't know if it's just because I'm a huge fan or if this was really the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it was like, we know how Missy approached her music videos and how she's been doing it ever since She's Up, Say My Name, Talk on Junk, Won't Look My Way, The Rain, like 1 Minute Man, all of these hits where the visuals that follow was just like, what is happening here? Like, what are we looking at? That's how I felt watching this show. Like Missy, like, what the fuck are you? What's in that mind of yours? Like, it was one of those things. And from start to finish is this larger than life production. From start to finish, as soon as she comes out, she grabs you and she don't let go for the whole hour and like 15-minute set. You up. The room is electrified. No one sits down, not even for a second. It's just from start to finish, banging you over your head. And then the production, the storytelling, and all of the graphics, insane, absolutely insane. Missy Elliott is a genius when it comes to music and creativity. And I'm just happy I was able to see it in person, because it's probably not going to happen again. It took her like 20 some odd years to do this tour. So this is probably it. So if you want to check her out, I suggest looking up the schedule. I might even go see it again. That's how good of a show it was. I might look up another city and go check it out again, because it was out of this world, which is actually the name of the tour. So she lived up to the name of the tour. So fat shouts to you, Missy. I love you. You are the GOAT, and you lived up to all of the hype and all of my expectations that night. So fat shouts to you. Thank you for watching. If you rock with your boy, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, it's called Holliewood and Friends, which means I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the topics I just discussed. I appreciate you. New episodes every Monday night. Until next time, deuces.